To get the latest on the news moving the currency market, we now cross to UBA, where Nwabueze Okonne is standing by. He's the currency trader there. Nwabueze, thank you for joining us, and maybe we should start with the slight weakness we're seeing in the Naira. It's closed today at 158.85. So talk us through the activity there, particularly with the supply we would expect to see from the oil majors.
Hi, Wole. Naira has really been contained in a very tight range for the past trading session. Starting this week, we've seen Naira do 158.60 to 159. It seems as though 159 is capping it for now. If it to give way, it needs for that push or impetus to actually give way. But overall, we've seen Naira like in a tight range within this band. Demand outside of the CBN window filtering into the interbank market. That's actually caused the Naira to push, because if you compare vis-a-vis what the CBN is doing and where the Naira is at the interbank market, you should think that there should be some form of convergence towards CBN levels. To give a sense, for this week, CBN has done 600 million on offer for the bi-weekly WDS auction. Amounts to 518. That's a take-up of about 86% of what was totally supplied from the market. CBN has maintained at 155.75. Effective with a commission comes to 157.35. The market is trading above £1 premium from there.
So what can we take away from that? Do you expect the Naira to strengthen?
Well, I mean, vis-a-vis, there should be some form of, I expect that the response that CBN has been, the offer that CBN has been pushed in the window, I expect that in some form, in some way, it should filter down into the interbank market, either by CBN intervention activities or by some other means. But it's important to note that this kind of premium would definitely see them in the fact that certain transactions are not valid for the CBN window, and of course, outside of the supplies that come into the interbank market via the oil companies and the flows, FDI flows, if those supplies are thinning out or as not as much as the anticipated demand is, you would see this kind of premium or this kind of divergence in the rates.
All right, I mean, I think you just touched a very interesting point. The fact that the Naira, the CBN window, the Naira obviously is stronger, so it probably makes more sense to pick up dollars there. But then we're not seeing that demand fully fulfilled, because like you mentioned, there's a shortfall when you compare what the CBN has offered and what the market is picking up from the CBN window. And you're saying that that's really because some transactions are not valid for demand in the CBN window. Am I getting you right there?
Yeah, correct. That's a couple of transactions are not valid for the CBN window. That obviously has to come into the interbank market. Okay. Yeah, that's what we'll see for now. Like I said, but I think obviously the strength of the Naira at the CBN window will have a pulling effect on the currency and the interbank market. We need to get some flows. We need to just reduce the tension in the market in terms of people looking at the market is trading at £1 above where the CBN is. It definitely will put some people to start thinking again. But overall, I think we're within a fairly contained range. I think the pull will be more towards the CBN rate rather than from the CBN rate towards the interbank rate.
So you're saying, so the Naira fairly stable at a time where we saw the oil price dip below $100 per barrel, and one will get a little concerned there, because in the past when we've seen the oil price trend lower, we've seen some pressure on the Naira. But I'm getting the sense that the market seems to be fairly comfortable about where the Naira is, regardless of the decline in the oil price.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, we can't remove the fact that reserve levels are playing a huge impact in this. I mean, the reserve level close.
I think that's what has changed. Reserves are much stronger.
Yeah, that's a strong changing factor. When we had the oil trading below $100 per barrel, you had reserve levels maybe in the 30s, mid-30s range. Yeah. You can compare it to now where you have almost 50 billion. That's really a huge confidence booster in the currency market, and that really has helped so far. I think the reserve level, I mean, overall, talking to people both internal, inside and outside, I think reserve level is a strong factor that people are playing in, people are looking at, and they are thinking that okay, so really there's no such concern as.
The reserves are something we need to keep our eyes on going forward. Okay, so we'll do that.
I definitely think
so. But talk to us about the flows from offshore, though. we get the sense that that has moderated in the recent weeks. Do you anticipate that that is likely to pick up, or is this the new normal in terms of getting flows from abroad?
Well, I might say it's a new normal for now because I mean we're approaching the typical sell in May period. So typically in May everybody goes like sell in May, come back in August, September to pick up your assets. So really, it might be a factor there, but overall, I think it's more a finely balanced thing right now. There's an equivalent flow of inflows, there's an equivalent of outflows, so the effect from that window is actually very minimal. I think that's one of the reasons why the price has been in a very contained range, because we find that the flows, the outflows that would have come in and would have obviously have the much greater impact or a greater pull at the interbank market has been contained by the inflow that has come. So on the flow side, it's actually finely balanced so far for now. I don't think that there's any game changer for now, outside of the fact that we'll continue to see a fairly muted flow from the side, maybe slightly positive, but not as much as we expected, as much as happened before, not as much as has happened before. I mean, if you compare where the yields were, where we saw those huge positive flows, and where they are now, we would say that Nigeria is actually faring very well.